Showbiz legend, actor, broadcaster, presenter Christopher Biggins has made headlines today in an ageism row as DVLA take away his driving licence. What is the story? I'm delighted to say that Christopher Biggins joins me now. Hi, Chris.
Mark, it's so good to see you. Back on air again. Fantastic news.
I've got my voice back, Biggins.
It's good. It's good. We need your voice.
And I wanted to make a splash this week, which is why I'm bringing in all the big guns. Last hour, we had Konstantin Kisin, whose show Trigonometry is one of the biggest talk shows in the world now, with millions of viewers and listeners per week. And now I have a star of stage and screen, Biggins. And Biggins, look, you do loads of telly and you perform and you're a broadcaster and all the rest of it. And you're a busy man. You need the use of a car. May I ask what's going on with your driver's licence?
Well, about 3 months ago, my driving license was coming to an end, so I had to apply for a new one. So I did so to DVLA, and they wrote back and said, look, you're now 76 years old. You now need to apply for an eye test, and you have to go to Specsavers. Your nearest one happened to be Stratford, because it's got a special machine there. So I booked in and I went. And I was confronted by a rather dreary young girl who was on the desk. And I said to her, have you had a bad night? And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, you seem so low and down. Can I help in any way? And she said, no, I'm fine. So I said, oh, really? Anyway, we talked on, and eventually I had my eye test, and they said, I'm afraid it didn't go quite right, so we're going to have to do it again. So I had a second eye test. And by the time that I finished, I left, and the girl said, oh, nice to see you. And I said, oh, good, you've cheered up now. That's marvellous. So I waited for about a week, and I got a letter from the DVLA saying that I have failed my eye test. Oh, I said. So at the same time, I had another letter from Homerton Hospital, which is nearby to me, where I go for my type 2 diabetes, saying that I had passed my eye test for the next 2 years.
Right.
So I thought, that's great. So I sent that letter to DVLA, and they came back and they said, no, we don't take anything like that. So obviously they don't take hospitals, which is very interesting. Anyway, so then I went for another eye test, a Vision Express in Canary Wharf, and I passed that. So I sent that letter to the DVLA, and they came back and said, no, sorry, no good. So I thought, what is it? Am I being persecuted personally here? Bizarre. So there was a story in the Mail today, and I think it's going to be one in the Times tomorrow. And it's just, is it ageism? Is it because I'm 76? I can see perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my glasses, which are terrific. And, I'd like to know what the problem is.
Definitely. Well, we've worked together in broadcasting for several years, and you're perfect with the prompter and everything else, sometimes which is in small typeface. And, there you are with your corrective spectacles on. I'm wearing glasses too. It sounds to me, well, you're asking, is it ageism? Well, it may well be, but it's also a terrible culture of computer says no. It seems like DVLA's automated systems don't have the wherewithal to renew and update your details with the positive test for your eyesight. I mean, I don't understand why a good eye test doesn't trump a bad one.
I know. It seems so ridiculous. And they're saying that it's not because, and what I hear now, I've made some inquiries, that DVLA have a contract with Specsavers, and they pay them to actually be the company's firm for glasses, an eye test. So what they're doing is, for instance, what if you went when you were of a certain age to have an eye test and you didn't have a Specsavers near you?
Right.
What would happen then?
It makes no sense.
Surely they have to open themselves to all different types of eye places.
Now, my concern also, Christopher, apart from the automated computer says no, is whether something went wrong at Specsavers, because you've had a positive eye test, a successful eye examination from the Homerton Hospital, and actually the NHS should trump any opticians. I think that's quite clear. And you've had the Vision Express positive result as well. So do you think something went wrong the day you were examined at Specsavers?
I wouldn't like to say because I was rude to the young girl for not being bright and effervescent and looking after me as a customer. I don't want to say that, but you begin to think perhaps because I made a complaint that they are having a go at me. I don't know. I mean, it's a difficult one to answer.
Now,
but it does seem...
Are you going to take legal advice? Because you need your driver's license. You're an entertainer and a broadcaster. You need a car. And
Absolutely.
also, I do know, even though when we're going to talk about your improved health after the break and the fat jabs and all the Ozempic, but you have had a couple of issues with your knees. So you need the car in a very practical sense.
Absolutely. And it's costing me a fortune now in getting taxis everywhere.
Yeah.
My partner, Neil, is great. And he will drive us, but he can't be available all the time.
No.
You know, he's got his own life to lead.
Now, have you spoken to any lawyers about this or taken any citizens' advice or anything like that?
Funnily enough, because today when it came out in the mail, this story, I've had so many people ring me, offering money to get a lawyer, because everyone's absolutely, unbelievably can't believe the story. So even my friend Dame Joan rang from the south of France to say this is ageism going wrong.
That's incredible. Joan, did she put down her cocktail, her celebratory birthday cocktail to call you?
Absolutely, you know, and but you know, people I think of a certain age really feel they're being attacked. I don't, you know, we're all, I mean, I know we're living way beyond our times, but you know, we can't suddenly go and decide we're going to go and into another world and go upstairs to meet God when we're not ready for him.
No, I completely agree. And actually, if you look at the closure of bank branches, if you look at the cashless payments, a lot of older people prefer to have, you know, the physical money, but prefer to have, you know, coins and notes. Then you've got the post offices, which are, I mean, I don't know about you, but my local post office went years ago. I still miss it to this day, but older folk especially miss these resources.
And also the government's decision to take away the allowance for heating.
Yeah.
You know, for old age pensioners. I mean, you know, it's ridiculous. It seems that we, as older people, are now being chastised for that position that we're in. And all the years we've worked and paid taxes, it's just unbelivel.
You're also not, you know, Christopher, you know, you've had a great career and you continue to have a great career. You've got a head on your shoulders. You've got a brain. And you wouldn't drive if you couldn't see.
Absolutely not.
You know, and actually, I mean, if I compare an older person who needs to get their eyes checked from time to time versus an 18-year-old that's just passed their test, I would take the pensioner all day long.
I agree. And I think it's unfortunate that what they've done, the government, is pinpointed a few occasions where someone of an older person has been responsible for an accident. I mean, there was a story the other day of a man who went into an older woman because she couldn't see properly in her car. You know, but that has to be taken as an individual thing, not as a whole round thing where everybody now, when they reach a certain age, can't drive.
Yeah, you stopped me in my tracks with the sentence, a man went into an older woman, but I think I know what you're saying, Christopher. I will remind you it's a family show, but the other issue, and I read the piece, I mean, it's been it's one of the big stories of the day, and it was front page news in the Mail online, and rightly so, because I think it registered with a lot of people, as you say, about the attitude to someone that's older, who's always paid into the system.
Absolutely.
And has obeyed the laws. And, you know, for me, older Brits represent a country that we're fast losing, actually.
Yeah.
If I look at how a lot of young people behave and who don't even know how to dress, don't have manners, and certainly are terrifying if they get behind the wheel. But just for you, emotionally, this is a knockback, isn't it?
Oh, it very much is. You know, I don't feel old. I'm still working. I'm doing as much as I can, and I've had various things. I've had a new valve put in, a pig's valve. So if I start snorting, you'll know why. Into my heart. I've had a new knee put in, and I had a melanoma on my arm. So the National Health has been wonderful to me. But you know, I'm still able to talk. I'm able to see. I'm able to do everything. I love watching the television.
Yeah.
You know, it's a marvelous thing. And you know that suddenly you think to yourself, well, are we now being told because we're of a certain age that we can't do any of these things?
Or also, I mean, I suppose the problem with this decision is that you will feel that you've been put out to pasture because, you know, when you can drive a car, you feel like you are participating in active society, don't you? And if you,
Absolutely,
if those car keys are beyond your reach, that's quite emasculating, and it makes you feel that you're being sidelined.
And we've done everything to help the environment. For the last 8 years, we've had an electric car.
Right.
You know, so we're trying to help. And, you know, we're not running around in a diesel car, which we were all told to buy years ago. I mean, no one seems to have a direct line to what they want in a car or in life. I mean, everywhere around you, there's absolute contradictions of how to live your life.
The other thing is, yeah, go on, Biggins.
And now they're affecting our age and saying, you know, we can't do these things. That's it now. Put you out to, you know, to what's the word?
Put you out to pasture.
That's the one. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, I would say that the other issue is that when you get older, when there's a bit more free time, the car is a great way of staying young, fit and healthy because you can drive to the seaside, you can drive to the countryside, go for a walk, go to a country pub, get out there. You've worked hard all your life. And you as an actor and presenter, you know, is the phone going to ring? All that stress. This is a stage in your life now where you should be enjoying yourself, and access to a car is part of that, I would say.
Absolutely. I mean, very important. I mean, luckily we live in London, but if I lived in the country, it would be a nightmare. I wouldn't be able to go anywhere because there are no buses. There's no transport at all.
No. Is there any hope that this can be resolved? Have you spoken to anyone qualified enough to say you've got a case here to appeal this, Christopher?
Yes, I have. Funny enough, Dame Joan gave me the name of a woman who she works with in the spectacle profession, and she is up in arms about it all, and she can't believe the story, and she's going to help. I've been sending her stuff all day, and we'll see. We're not going to let this die down. We're going to actually... we're going to make it live, and we're going to save not only me, but everybody of my age for the future.
Most definitely. Biggins, stay with us because not only do you have a new valve, which is a pig's valve. I've always thought you were a bit of a silly sausage, but thank you. I'm here all year. And the other thing is that you've got the knee, but you've had Ozempic. So after this, do the fat jabs work? Biggins, live on Talk. Don't go anywhere. I'm delighted to say with me for the next few minutes is the actor, presenter, broadcaster, entertainer, Christopher Biggins. Biggins, you look really, really well, and we've confirmed that your eyesight is excellent and the DVLA are complete fools. And I've got every hope that with the right legal advice that you will get back behind the wheel. Will you let us know when there's a positive result on that one?
I certainly will, Mark. I'll come round and give you a lift.
Well, I'd love that. Shout it from the rooftops as a victory for people that have the temerity to be a tiny bit older in age, which, if we're lucky, will come to all of us. Biggins, are you comfortable talking about the Ozempic? Because I don't want to be impertinent.
No, absolutely. In fact, I'd rather talk about Mounjaro.
Ah, okay.
I'm on that.
Right. So, do you want to give us the background? Because you're a strong guy, you're a fit guy, and you've been performing all your life.
Yes.
But did your body mass become an issue at a certain point for you?
Well, I think when I had to have my knee removed and a new one put in, I mean, that was a real problem because, of course, all the extra weight that one carries goes around that area. I mean, the knee is the most vulnerable part of your body weight-wise. And so I went to lose some weight. And because I have type 2 diabetes, I was then put on Mounjaro, which was great. And it certainly helps. What it does do, and it's annoying, actually, because it curbs your appetite. So you go out to dinner with some friends, and nowadays eating out is so expensive, as you know. And so suddenly I'm not eating anything. I mean, we went out last night to Sheiky's, and I had a bowl of soup and some prawns, and everyone else was lapping up things that they could stuff into their faces and having a bright. I had a good time.
Yeah.
I drank some champagne and some very nice rosé, so that was good. But it does curb your appetite beautifully. Now, they're saying nowadays, of course, you've got to be careful about the side effects. Well, I hear that some of the side effects are rather good. They stop other things happening to your body at this age. And, you know, we don't know yet how well it's going to do. I don't want to be on it for the rest of my life, but it certainly is helping to curb my appetite and bring my weight down.
That's great news. You do look terrific. When did you begin with those injections of Mounjaro?
Well, I was on Ozempic before that. So
was Ozempic a problem, or was that a good tip?
No problem at all. And then my doctor decided I should go on to Mounjaro. And, you know, it's just that because the Ozempic used to inject yourself every day. This is just one injection a week in different parts of your body. And it works beautifully. And at the moment, I have no problems. I mean, I'm not suddenly foaming at the mouth. I'm not shouting obscenities at old women that approach me. You know, it's great. I mean, I feel wonderful, and it is doing the desired effect. It stops your appetite.
Does it take the joy out of life, though, if you don't have an appetite, or is weight loss a greater reward?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you know, I love my food. I love going out to restaurants when they were reasonable, and now, you know, it is difficult because, you know, you do feel a little inadequate when you have a meal and you don't finish anything. Yeah. I mean, the other night we went out and I said, "Can I have a box to put and they didn't have a box, so I couldn't take the chicken home with me, which was delicious. So, you know, you do suffer somehow because, you know, I do love food. I used to love cooking. Now Neil, my partner, does all the cooking, but I just love eating. But you do not want to eat too much now.
Well, I suppose the nice thing about these injections is that they curb the appetite, and that you probably have in your mind a timeline to be on this medication with which to lose the weight. And I suppose when you get to where you want to be, then you can ease off the jabs and then start to enjoy food again. Is that the plan?
Yes, I mean, I want to come to you, to your home, and I want to borrow one of your suits because I think that would be a wonderful opportunity for me to say it's worked. You know, you're so slender and so good looking, you know, and it would be a marvellous tribute to me and to you.
Well, you are losing the weight. I can see how slim you are, and then you get energy. It's a positive cycle, a positive loop, isn't it? When the weight starts to come off.
It is. It's one of the positive things of getting older. Funny enough, to have this drug, and I do think, you know, people who are obese need some help. It's no good saying, they should do more exercise, they should eat less. Take Ozempic, you'll lose Mounjaro, you'll lose a lot of weight.
And
it is good.
No dizziness or nausea, Christopher?
No, not at all. Touch wood. I'm touching wood here.
And what does Neil make of this new man of his?
Well, he's very thrilled, actually. He's absolutely thrilled and really enjoys it. He's a marvellous help to me, you know. He's constantly... I am lazy, I have to say, and the knee operation has been very successful, but it's the muscle around it, and I should do more exercise, and he's forever at me for walking and doing a bit more than I do now. But I'm getting there. I mean, I'm still walking, I'm still... carrying on, even though I've got to walk now more because I can't drive.
No, of course. Boris Johnson, I believe, tried, it was either Mounjaro or Ozempic, and it made him very ill. He was dizzy and nauseous, and in the end had to give it up.
Really? I suppose, yes.
So it's not, it perhaps doesn't work for everyone, would you say?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, I can understand some people whose metabolism doesn't really react well to it. Yeah. I mean, you know, and I don't want to be on it for the rest of my life either.
No, and there is a hope that your type 2 diabetes could actually be reversed by these jabs. Is that true?
Well, funnily enough, I've just had a test now, and they said to me...
You didn't go to Specsavers, did you?
And they did say to me that, in fact, you're practically nil with your diabetes. So I'm thrilled. I mean, it has been brilliant from that point of view.
Oh, I mean, that's massive.
Yeah.
You know, that's because what that means is that all of the other, we know, don't we, type 2 diabetes, which millions of Brits, many of my listeners and viewers will have, that actually it opens the door to a lot of other problems.
Absolutely. I mean, yes.
So if your blood sugar can be back to where it needs to be, that is spectacular news. And listen, you're going to be here for decades to come, as is your pal, Dame Joan Collins. I mean, what a legend. I saw a picture. I don't know if it was a recent picture, but she was in the paper, I think, yesterday. Is that right? Looking absolutely stunning.
In a swimsuit.
In a swimsuit.
Yeah, I mean, she is amazing, absolutely amazing. I mean, she's just making a new film about the Duchess of Windsor, which is filmed, and we went out to see her on the set, and my hope is, because she's such a heroine and such a good friend of mine, I adore her, but I think that this would be the film that the country, the world will say, Joan, here is a special Oscar.
Right.
Here is a special award for you for all you've done for film, theatre, stage, everything. Because she is an exception. She is still funny. She is marvellous. She is encouraging. She is a wonderful friend to have. And I couldn't wish for anyone better. She's marvellous.
Indeed. And if you think about the footprint of her career, it spans decades and it spans many different eras.
Absolutely.
Of showbiz and the big screen and the small screen.
And she's the first to tell you it's been good and it's been bad. I mean, you know, if we think of the what was it called? Something of Ants, the Ants film which she made, that was terrible.
Army of Ants or something?
Yeah, something like that. But then she laughs about that, you know. And then of course she does Dynasty, where she took the world by storm. Absolutely fantastic performance.
At one point, as Alexis Carrington.
Yes, absolutely.
That was probably the biggest TV show in the world, because Dynasty was a global hit, wasn't it? And,
absolutely. And she made it a global hit.
Oh, she made it. I mean, the cat fights with Linda Evans.
Oh, the one where they were in the pool, in the pond. That was fabulous.
It was TV gold. It was a golden era and quite politically incorrect. And it was a wonderful thing. Them fighting over Blake Carrington. Those were the days. So, well, that's, you know, brings our conversation full circle about appreciating people who are older. And, you know, that's the thing about the world, is we forget that older people are wise, that they've lived a life, they've seen it. They've been there, they've got the T-shirt. I mean, you're quite opinionated. You've got strong views about the direction of the country. I think you've got big concerns, Christopher. And you're not afraid about being cancelled, are you? You, no pun intended, you shoot from the hip.
Absolutely. What's the point? Because the marvellous thing of being an age like 76 is you say what you mean.
Yeah.
And you can't stop that from anybody. No. I mean, if you may disagree with it,
of course,
and you may say, you know, I'm talking rubbish, but at least I have an opinion. And, you know, I enjoy having an opinion, and I enjoy making people shout at me and say nasty things, but they don't do a lot of that. I mean, I just enjoy being Biggins. Well,
you do Biggins brilliant. Anyone else. Chris, I'm so glad that you're in such rude health. The DVLA are complete, but they're very short-sighted. That's the last pun of the night, okay? I'm not going to crack jokes in front of Biggins, because that's like trying to play the piano in front of Elton John. You're not going to win. But Christopher, you're an amazing man, and I do hope, listen, I'd love to have more chats now that I'm back on a national TV and radio platform. I do hope we'd have the privilege of your company in the near future.
Dude. No, I will. And I'll let you know whatever happens.
I need to know, and I'll let my viewers and listeners know, because they'll be rooting for you. Got to get that crazy, crazy judgment overturned, and you've got to fire up that Tesla and put the pedal to the metal, as they say. Biggins, we'll catch up soon.